हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे रामा राम राम हरे हरे. May I continue, Prabhuji, or shall I stop? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prema Priya. Jai Shri Mataji.
Yes.
Is everyone able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Right now, yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji's Mataji's apologies for the connection issues. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
we are-
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji. We
Thank you.
can hear you.
जय श्री श्री राधा गोविंद जी, श्री श्री गौर निताय, श्रील प्रभुपाद गुरु महाराज जी की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतिरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च। जीवं Shakhan Vicha He Krishna
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, I'm not able to hear you. I think we've lost him.
He's muted, Mataji.
You're muted.
Krishna.
Acha, acha. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Hare
Prabhu, last
Krishna.
2 minutes you were muted. Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
Okay,
Hare
sorry,
Krishna.
sorry. I just finished the Mangalacharan
No
prayers.
problem. Sure.
So, welcome all the devotees to today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam as part of the Bhakti Vaibhav session. My apologies for keeping the video off because I've connected using the mobile Wi-Fi, which is not that reliable and good. So, in this particular chapter, we see Narad Muni describing to his dear disciple Srila Vyasadeva his own life history in order to answer the specific cause of despondency that Vyasadeva has put forth, not even put forth. Narada Muni had appeared by understanding the despondency and dissatisfaction within the heart of his disciple, despite having composed all the different Vedic literatures, including Mahabharata, Upanishads, Itihasas, so on and so forth. So we see Narad Muni describing his own past life, which took place in the previous Kalpa, in the previous day of Lord Brahma, how he was the son of a maid servant and so Narad Muni as well as his mother got opportunity Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna. Now I can hear you,
Rama,
Prabhu. Go
Rama
ahead.
Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you, Mataji. So where Narad Muni's mother used to cook prashadam for these Bhakti Vedantas and the small child Narada, he served them in menial way and also heard from them Krishna Katha in the morning and evening every single day for that Chaturmasya, 4 months rainy season period. And also with their permission, with the permission of the Bhakti Vedantas, this particular child accepted the remnants of the foodstuff, the prasadam that was honored by the Bhakti Vedantas. And as a result of all this, Bhagavatam explains that how transformation of his heart took place, so much so that even the great calamity of losing his only shelter in the form of uh, his mother dying due to snake bite as a special mercy of the and he went through various grama and nagara. He went through various villages, various places where the mining was happening, in order to show that as a young child growing up, he had all the facilities and avenues if he would have wanted to make a living for himself and have a good, prosperous material life. But instead, Narada Muni, in this 5-year-old child's body, he decided to not be distracted by any of these temptations in this material world, and also he conquered fear. Srimad Bhagavata mentions that how Narada Muni, he went through the dense, deep jungles where there were many voracious animals, snakes, etc., dangerous animals living, and finally came under a ashwatha, under a banyan tree, and started meditating upon the Lord, remembering the instructions that he had received from the Bhakti Vedantas. And Srimad Bhagavatam explains how immediately, not too long after, he got darshan of the Lord within his heart, and Lord unmanifested that beautiful form of himself, which the darshan could keep the in Narada Muni. My dear Narada, whatever darshan Hare Ram, Ram, that whatever darshan you had received, my dear boy Narada, in this lifetime, this will be the last time you would see me. Lord also mentioned that there are some vestiges of the so that the discussion today can achieve the transcendental body by of the Lord. This what we would also see as part of verse to repeat text 31. Before that, anyone has any questions, queries on the background that we discussed? Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Anyone has any questions till now?
Hare Krishna, no problem. Just that the voice is not clear. It's like breaking. That is why.
Is it? Oh,
Now
is
it's
it?
now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
now
it
it's very
better
clear.
now? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. So please try to recite text 31. Antarbahishcha lokam strin
Antarbahishcha
Isha
lokamstre
lokam strin.
paryemi askandita vrataha
paryemi
Yemi
askandita vrataha
askandita.
anugrahan mahavishnor
anugrahan
Grahan
mahavishnu
avigata gati kvachit.
avigata gati kvachit.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji's Mataji. Those of you who would like to read through, you can please raise your hands and I will request devotees one by one. Hare Krishna. Jyoti Gupta Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
So I read the translation, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes. Translation and highlighted part of the purport.
Okay, Prabhuji. So translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ji ki jai. Since then, by the grace of Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world and in the three divisions of the material world. This is because I am fixed in unbroken devotional service of the Lord.
Thank you, Mataji. First highlighted part.
As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there are three divisions of the material spheres, namely the Urdhvaloka, topmost planets, Madhyaloka, midway planets, and Adholoka, downward planets. Beyond the Urdhvaloka planets, that is to say above the Brahmaloka, are the material coverings of the universes. And above that is the spiritual sky, which is unlimited in expansion, containing unlimited self-illuminated Vaikuntha planets inhabited by God Himself, along with associates, who are all eternally liberated within entities. Sri Narad Muni could enter all these planets in both the material and spiritual spheres without restriction, as much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of His creation. In the material world, the living beings are influenced by the three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. But last
Me,
minute.
Jyoti Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Are you
I
able
was
to
reading
hear
the
me?
full. Yes, I
Okay,
was
so
reading
we'll
the
take a
full. So
pause.
yes.
We-
Okay, Prabhuji.
We'll take a pause here. Okay, and we will discuss few points from the purport. So in this world, we see that every living entity, not just man, but every living entity, we have got so many restrictions on our movement. For example, are all of you able to hear me properly, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Anyone
Yes,
can
Prabhuji.
confirm?
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
okay,
Now
okay,
it's
fine.
good.
So say for example, a child, he or she wants to go out of his home to play. He has to go through so many restrictions. He can only be away at a distance what his parents would allow him. He can only be away for a period what his mother or father would allow him to be away for. Similarly, when the child grows, the restrictions are lifted to a degree, but still there are restrictions in terms of by what time the child has to return back home. And when the person grows, he gets into a good job with the MNC, etc. The restrictions are further lifted where the person can decide to travel abroad based on the work opportunity, etc. But still, it is not that he can just visit any country of his liking. If a suitable opportunity comes in with a proper visa being sanctioned and all, then a person can probably be there for a limited time allowed by that visa practice. And later on, even when one has got sufficient Lakshmi and everything, whatever his health or her health can allow, only that much a person can travel. However, in the case of Narada Muni, Srimad Bhagavatam is saying that by the mercy of the Almighty Lord Vishnu, Narada Muni has access to all the 14 planetary systems within the material world. So he can go to any planet on the he can go to any place within the earth or in the lower planets like Atala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Plus, Narada Muni can go to the higher planets, including Swargaloka or even Maharloka, Loka, Tapaloka, and the ultimate planet in this material universe, Satyaloka, or which is also called Brahmaloka. And Bhagavata mentions that not only Brahmaloka, but Narada Muni has facility to even cross beyond the boundaries of this material universe and even enter Vaikuntha planets where the Supreme Lord himself resides. So Narada Muni, pure devotees like Narada Muni, like Shukadev Goswami, etc., sometimes they are glorified in the scriptures as being as good as the Supreme Lord. Like earlier in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we see Shukadev Goswami glorified by being mentioned that he is as good as Paramatma. Why? because just like Paramatma can know what is happening within the heart of each and every living entity, by the mercy of that Supreme Lord, these great souls like Shukadev Goswami or even Narada Muni, they are also aware to a great degree the happenings in this material world, the happenings within past, present, and what is going to happen in future as well. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular purport that we are seeing, let me just show that line. Yes. Here it is mentioned, Sri Narada Muni could enter all these planets in both the material and spiritual spheres without restrictions, as much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of His creation. So sometimes these pure devotees, by the mercy of the Lord, they derive power as good as the Lord in certain aspect, like Narada Muni in this case, or Shukadev Goswami, which is earlier described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And why this is considered as a very special case scenario? Because devotees like Narada Muni, they have excellent rapport not just with the devotees, but all of us will be amazed to know that even the greatest of the asuras, including Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, etc., Narada Muni had free access plus a very excellent rapport with all of these asuras as well. Like we see in Krishna book, when Kamsa decided to free Vasudev and Devaki, seeing the presented child, Kamsa felt compassion for a while. And he mentioned to Vasudev that I don't have any danger coming from this first child, so you can take it with you. I have danger only from the eighth child. And Vasudev obviously was uh, quite cautious about this compassion manifested from Kamsa's side. And Bhagavatam mentions that that particular point in time, Narada Muni appears in Kamsa's palace and mentions to him that all these Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He mentions to Kamsa that all these devatas, you have to be very careful, Kamsa, because they are appearing like left, right, and center in various families within the Yadu dynasty, and you really don't know which specific child of Devaki would be the Supreme Lord Vishnu, eight child from the beginning, from the end, or from the middle. So you can never be too sure. So in a way, we feel that Narada Muni may be instigating, but real import is not that. Narada Muni is expediting the appearance of Lord Krishna by uh, intensifying the the injustice and the misbehavior and the cruelties meted out by Kamsa upon Vasudev and Devaki. So in a way, Narada Muni knows what it takes for the Lord to appear very quickly. So similar to Kamsa, we also see Narada Muni having excellent rapport with even other great demoniac personalities, including Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, etc. So this particular power to be able to relate with each and every living entity across the spiritual world and the material world, including such greatest of the demons, is what has been bestowed upon Narada Muni as the mercy by the Lord. And in the later part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that how the various types of species and all the of them, like say for example, they are considered in fruit work, in karma division, the path of Gyan, path of philosophical speculation. But Muni, he is considered specially
Krishna Prabhu, your voice is breaking, Prabhu.
Can't hear you at all. Is he Prabhu there or he's lost? Prabhu, I think his volume is gone. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, we lost you completely.
Krishna. Empowered with the Bhakti Shakti, empowered with the potency. Sorry, Mataji, you are not able to hear me properly. Rasarangini Mataji.
Prabhu, I don't think even I cut my video and saw. I think many of them have a problem because
Oh,
they
right.
We are not. We
Yeah.
are not able to hear you properly. Prabhu.
The audio is not clear,
Sorry.
Prabhuji. It's
Sorry.
getting disconnected.
One second. Yeah. Is it better now, Mataji,
very clear.
Prabhuji?
Now very clear.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
It's
Yes,
Clear.
right now we can hear you.
Apologies for the. I'll try and. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I know internet because I've connected using the mobile. That's why it is not good. But I'll try to get a better connection before we meet next time. So Narada Muni is specifically empowered by the Lord to have complete freedom to visit any place within the material universe and the spiritual world. So we proceed to the next verse. 1 second. Any question on this text 31, Prabhuji's Mataji's, Hare Krishna?
No, Prabhu.
Okay, all right.
Prabhu, Hare
Text.
Krishna. Prabhu,
Yes, Mataji.
Radhika here. So Prabhu, Narada Muni has this ability to go because he's a Nitya Siddha, right?
Yes.
So any of the liberated souls like Arjuna or anyone, do they also will they also have the facility to travel or?
See, to be honest, even within the Nitya Siddha personalities, this particular ability is bestowed by the Lord to very specific personalities for a very specific purpose. For example, in the case of Arjuna, one of the names of Arjuna is Dhananjay, which means Arjuna could go up to Swargaloka based on the specific service that Lord Krishna had assigned to him, which was to collect various weapons and the wealth needed to fight the war, what was going to happen in future for establishing the religion. So not necessarily all the devotees have all the types of powers. These powers specifically bestowed by the Lord based on what specific purpose or service Lord wants to manifest the devotee.
Clear, Prabhu. Done. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Is
Krishna.
that all right?
Very clear.
Rasarangini Mataji.
Sure. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Text 32. Devadattam imam vinam.
Devadattam
Can try to recite.
Veenam.
Swara Brahma Vibhushitam.
Swara Brahma Vibhushitam.
Hare Krishna. Murchayitva Hari Katham.
Murchayitva
Murchayitva
Gayamanasharami
harikatam.
aham. Hare Krishna. Vijay Kumari Mataji, you want to read through the translation and the highlighted part.
Yes, Prabhuji. Devatattam imam vinam swara brahma vibhushitam murcha itpa arikatam kaya manas charami akam. Translation. And thus I travel constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a veena, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. Purport. The musical stringed instrument called the veena, which was handed to Narada by Lord Krishna, is described in the Linga Purana, and this is confirmed by Srila Jiva Goswami. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Sri Krishna and Narada because all of them are of the same transcendental category. As a pure devotee of the Lord Sri Narada,
Thank you. Thank you,
always
Mataji.
fulfilling his
Hare Krishna.
obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument. And thus,
Sorry, Mataji, can you stop? Because
Hare
Prabhu
Krishna, yeah.
reads only few. Thank you, Prabhu, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So whoever is
Sorry,
reading,
Prabhuji.
yeah, just keep an eye on the prompt so that we can take a pause and discuss on those points. Okay. So in this case, Narada Muni's Veena is mentioned as Deva Dattam Imam Veenam. That this particular stringed instrument that was given to Narada Muni by the Supreme Lord himself. For what purpose? What is it mentioned? Murcha itva harikatha gaya manas charami aham. That this particular musical instrument has specifically been gifted by the Lord to Narada Muni for spreading his glories. So the previous verse, the point that we were seeing, that Narada Muni is free to go to all these 14 planetary systems and beyond, not for any ordinary purpose, but with the sole intention of glorifying the Lord using the musical instrument, using the stringed instrument, Veena, that has been gifted to him by the Supreme Lord. So this is a very specific purpose. And in the last part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that a pure devotee is always very conscious in fulfilling whatever service, whatever obligation is granted to him by the Lord in terms of preaching the specific message that is granted. For example, devotees like Lord Shiva, when he was required to come as Adi Shankaracharya, he did not mind spreading the message of impersonalism. Why? Because that was the specific need which was needed to re-establish the authority of the Vedas, and in order to bring people's faith back in the Vedas, Uttama Buddha, preached by Lord Buddha. So we see that devotees, they are not afraid to present the message based on the will of the Lord, based on specific time, place, and circumstances. So Narada Muni, he is also fulfilling the service that has been granted to him to preach the Bhakti Shakti all over the 14 planetary systems. So we proceed to the next verse. Any questions anyone has, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Hare Krishna, on the specific points?
No, Prabhuji.
All right. Text 33. Please try to recite. Pragayata. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Pragayata swaviryani.
Pragayataya
Hare Krishna.
Satyani.
Anyone please can recite? Praga
Savyani.
Tir Tirthapada Priya Shavaha.
Tirthapada
Priyashavaha.
Ahuta iva me shigram.
Ahuta iva me
shigram.
Darshanam yati chetasi.
Darshanam yati chetasi.
So here it is mentioned Pragayata Swaviryani. And wherever devotees like Narada Muni, they glorify the Supreme Lord. Swaviryani, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. Tirtha Padaha, Krishna is mentioned as Tirtha Pada. That means he carries all the holy places in his lotus feet. So wherever Lord visits, that place becomes a holy place. So that's why he's called as Tirtha Padaha, Priya Shravaha. And he is very pleased to hear glorification of himself through the mouth of the pure devotees. And how he is pleased? Ahuta iva me shigram. He comes to that particular place as if immediately he comes, as if being specifically invited for. He would come to that place immediately. So, is there any verse, Prabhujis and Matajis, can we think of from the scriptures where it conveys the similar meaning that as soon as there is a glorification of the Lord by the pure devotees of the Lord is definitely present at that particular place. Can we think of any verse? Anyone?
Prabhuji,
Chandra
Gajendra,
Moksha.
Gajendra.
Gaj. Okay. Can
And
you
then
either?
Dhruva Maharaja, Prabhuji, while he go to the forest
Mhm.
and pray, that time the God
Okay.
appears.
So thank you, Prabhujis and Mataji. So the specific verse which we are looking for is wherever there is a glorification of the Lord by any devotees, Lord immediately appears. So there is a famous verse, uh, Tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti mad bhakta nayam tishtami vaikunto yoginam udaeshuva tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti mad bhakta. So Lord himself confirms to Narada Muni that, my dear Narada, I don't reside in the Vaikuntha planets, nor do I reside in the hearts of the yogis, but I am definitely present at that particular place, Yatra Gayanti Mad Bhakta, where my devotees are reciting my glories. Then the point arises, is it that Priya Shravaha, that means is it that the quality of the Lord is similar to that of the conditioned living being, where the conditioned living being is very pleased to hear his or her own glorification? Is it so? So the answer is no, because the Supreme Lord is completely self-satisfied. He is Atma Rama and Atma Kama. That means he is completely self-satisfied with everything that he has. He does not need any external medium for any of his desires fulfillment, for any of his desires to be fulfilled. Lord doesn't need any external means. Then why does he appear or come to that place where the devotees sing his glories? Any thoughts, Prabhujis, Matajis? What could be the reason? Anyone?
Vibration of volume itself is Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, come again.
Vibration of the volume is itself Krishna.
Very nice, very nice. So Lord Krishna is non-different from his name. So when the devotees, they remember his holy names, his pastimes, hi- his form, etc., then that is as good as remembering the Lord himself, and he is present. That is one very authentic explanation. Any other thoughts? Why does Lord appear wherever devotees are glorifying? Yes. Don't worry about being wrong. Nobody will judge,
He
but
likes
try.
to hear, he likes to hear his
Yes,
glorification.
yes, true. Priya Shava, he does like, although he is Atma Santushta, but he does like devotees glorifying him. That is true. One very important point. What else? What does the Lord do after coming to the place where devotees are glorifying him? What does Krishna do?
He likes to please the devotees.
Yes, he likes to please the devotees, and specifically, he also likes to bless the devotees who are engaged in coming together and glorifying him and hearing, attending to that glorification. So, to bless the devotees, Krishna specifically immediately comes at a place where devotees of the Lord are engaged in his glorification, as if being personally invited for. And it is mentioned Ahuta iva me shigram. Shigram means immediately, without any delay, Lord is present there amongst the devotees. So we will request a devotee, Audarya Gauranga Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Can read the translation and highlighted part.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandas Prabhuji.
Translation purport by His Divineness Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to hear, at once appears on the seat of my heart, as if called for, as soon as I began to chant his holy activities. Prabhupada, the absolute personality of Godhead is not different from his tangential name, form, pastime, and the sound vibration thereof. As soon as a pure devotee engages himself in the pure devotional service of hearing, chanting, and remembering the name, fame, and activities of the Lord, at once he becomes visible to the tangential eyes of the pure devotees by reflecting himself on the mirror of the heart by spiritual television. Therefore, a pure devotee who is related with the Lord in loving tangential service can experience the presence of the Lord at every moment. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So we see a similar pastime of the Lord in Dwaraka when Mother Rohini, mother of Lord Balaram, was visiting the queens of Dwaraka who were very eager to hear from Mother Rohini the pastimes, childhood pastimes of Krishna and Balaram. And we see how she agreed to describe and narrate these childhood pastimes of Krishna Balaram with Subhadra standing at the door gate, guarding the door so that no intruder would come. But Krishna and Balaram, as soon as they understood that their childhood pastimes are being discussed by Mother Rohini to all the queens of Dwaraka, immediately Krishna and Balaram came to that particular place. And Subhadra Mai, who is the sister of Lord Krishna, she was in complete ecstasy hearing those glories, and she didn't even notice her brothers coming over there. And as a result, we see this, ecstatic forms of Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra Mai manifested from this particular pastime of Rohini narrating the glories of Lord Krishna's childhood pastimes to queens of Dwaraka. So, this is a very proof that how Krishna himself is so ecstatic by hearing his transcendental pastimes that his eyes become dilated and the limbs of his body, including the hands, legs, etc., they get retracted within his body, and he manifests this beautiful form of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadramai. So this is how Lord's pastimes are Priyashravaha. That means they attract the Lord so much so that he can't resist but to immediately appear at that particular place wherever devotees are discussing about him. Wherever devotees are glorifying him. Questions, comments, thoughts, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Hare Krishna. In order to address the despondency and the dissatisfaction within the heart of Vyasadeva. Now, very important question for all of you, and specificities we have not answered till now. If we have to summarize whatever
Prabhuji, we are unable to hear you, Prabhuji. You're not audible, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji's Mataji's Krishna. Yeah, so if we have to summarize the essence of what Narada Muni has discussed with Vyasadeva, what would be that one statement or few words, not more than one statement? What is the essence of Narada Muni's explanation of his life history to Vyasadeva? If we have to describe in probably one or two words, devotees can try. Hare Krishna.
Glorification of Lord is enough for satisfaction.
Yes, very nice, Mataji. That Hari Mahima or the glorification of the Lord, how it is enough and it is the only criteria for the ultimate perfection, for attaining the ultimate perfection and having all of one's desires as fulfilled. So this particular message Narada Muni summarizes to Vyasadev at the end of this narration of his previous life. So we will recite this verse. This is very important verse, text number 34. Please try to repeat. Etat di atura chittanam.
Etat di atura chittanam.
Matra sparshe chaya muhu.
Matra
Bhava sindhu plavo drishto.
Bhava
Haricharyanu varnanam. So here Narada Muni is describing to Vyasadev etati atura chittanam, that especially for those type of people, for those type of persons whose chitta, whose consciousness is filled with anxieties, who are always anxious within their heart. Why they are always anxious? Matra sparshes chaya muhu. Because they are always hankering or trying to satisfy their senses by bringing them in contact with the sense object. And because of trying to gratify their senses by connecting with the sense object, these people are full of anxieties. For such people, Bhava Sindhu Plavo Drishto, to cross over this ocean of nescience or material existence, what is of essence, what is important or critical? Haricharya Anuvarnanam. So Haricharya means the glorification of the Lord. And what is the Anuvarnanam? Anuvarnanam is repeated glorification following the footsteps of the predecessor Acharyas.
We can't hear you, Prabhuji.
So if one does repeated glorification of the transcendental activities of the Lord, glorification can drive away all within one's heart. So we'll go through the Hare Hare. Hare Rama, me, Prabhuji's Mataji. Apologies, Prabhuji's Mataji's for the inconvenience. We'll get this sorted before we meet next time. Is it better now? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, who is the next devotee? Chitra Mohini Mataji, Hare Krishna. You want to read through the translation and highlighted part of the purport?
Only the translation and highlighted purport. Is it, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of science on a most suitable boat, the constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Purport. 1 minute, Prabhuji.
Yeah, sure.
The symptom of living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about subjects which satisfy their senses. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusory energy, such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with cares and anxieties. This is called Maya, or what is not. So Narada Muni, by his personal experience, that's all, Prabhuji.
Says that. Are you able to see the next page?
Next page. Says that satisfaction says that satisfaction for such frustrated beings engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activities of a living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking of the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord Himself. Instead of relishing activities of the cinema artist, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his eternal associates like the Gopis and Lakshmis. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Only that much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Can someone confirm? Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Am I audible, Prabhuji's, Mataji's?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Apologies. So Bhagavatam is explaining that not a single one of us can remain even for a moment without engagement for our senses. That means eyes are constantly trying to view something which would give them relief or which would gratify them. Similarly, all other different senses are constantly endeavoring or trying to find an object which would give them satisfaction. So, what is the workaround? Workaround is not to stop those activities, but as Prabhupada mentions here, the point is that the subject matter only should be changed. That means only that particular thing which we engage our eyes in looking at, or which we engage our ears in hearing about, or which we engage our tongue in speaking about, that subject matter only has to be changed. So rather than discussing about cinema actors and actresses or politics, social events and etc., if we engage the same mentality to speak, to hear, to discuss, in discussing about Lord Krishna, in seeing the beautiful form of Lord Krishna, then Narada Muni is saying, by that Haricharya Anuvarnanam, by having that repeated glorification, repeated discussion about the activities of the Supreme Lord, then we would be able to do away with all the anxieties and cares within our heart. So this is the essence of Narada Muni's teachings in order to address the despondency and dissatisfaction within the heart of Vyasadeva. Any questions, queries, thoughts, Prabhuji's, Mataji's on this particular topic? What is the ultimate panacea or medicine for one's anxieties and cares?
Constant chanting of the transcendental activities of Lord.
Yes.
Devotional service to the Lord.
Devotional service.
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Devotional
Repeated
service.
And the surrender to God. Surrender to Bhagavan. Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Mad. So
Hare Krishna.
specifically, context, specifically in this context, repeated glorification of the transcendental activities of the Lord through hearing, through reading and study, etc. That Narada Muni mentions as the text 35. Please try Pathai. Please. Hare Krishna. Text 35. Please try to recite. Yamadibir yoga pathai.
Yamadevir yoga pathe.
Kamaloba hato muhu.
Kamalo bhavati muhu.
Mukunda sevaya yadvat.
Mukunda sevaya yadvat.
Tathatmadhana shamyati. Hare Krishna, Vamshi Mohan Prabhu. Just the translation and the first highlighted part in yellow.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It is true that by practicing restraint of the senses by the yoga system, one can get relief from the disturbances of desire and lust. But this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to the soul. For this satisfaction is derived from devotional service to the personality of the Godhead. Purport. The senses are considered like a venomous serpent, and yoga system is just to control them. On the other hand, Narada Muni recommends another method for controlling the senses. Just a minute. The senses is the transcendental loving service of Mukunda, the personality of the Godhead. By his experience, he says that devotional service to the Lord is more effective and practical than the system of artificially controlling the senses.
Thank you, Prabhu. So the process of the yoga practice, Ashtanga yoga specifically, including yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, etc., leading up to samadhi, all these do's and don'ts of the yoga practice, they are ultimately meant to control one's mind and senses. But Narad Muni says that it is still very difficult to gain complete control over one's mind and senses by following all these do's and don'ts of yoga practice. But devotional service is much more effective and easier means to attain complete control of one's senses and mind, where in fact this particular sense control is a byproduct of devotional service. It can provide more than that, more than the sense control. What can it provide? It can provide the complete satisfaction of the soul. Yayatma suprasidati. Complete satisfaction of the soul can only be achieved through this rendering of the transcendental devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, where the sense control automatically highlighted part. Srila Prabhupada gives the examples of a great yogi, Vishwamitri's, in this Ashtanga yoga practice to control his senses, but still, time and again, 2 times, he fell victim to the senses. First time to the heavenly damsel Menaka, and then second time to another damsel sent by Indra to distract him. So the point is, on the other hand, Prabhupada explains about Haridas Thakur. Although Maya herself came to tempt Haridas Thakur and distract him from his path of devotional service. Haridas Thakur was such powerful devotee that he gave shelter to Maya herself and even initiated Maya. So this is the power where sense control comes, but beyond that, a devotee becomes a completely self-satisfied, happy soul when he is engaged properly in rendering service to the Lord, rather than trying to control the senses through the artificial means of yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, so on and so forth. So this is Narada Muni's opinion. Devotional service being much higher compared to yoga practice. So we proceed to the next verse. Any questions or comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Hare Krishna. All right. Text 36. Sarvam tat idam akyatam
Sarvam tat
Sarvam
idam
idam
akyatam
yat prushtoham tvaya naga
yat
Ham tvaya naga
janma karma rahasyam me
janma karma rahasye
bhavataschatmatoshanam.
bhavatasatmatoshanam.
Hare Krishna. Shanti Mataji, just the translation, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank
Hare.
you. O Vyasadeva, you are freed from all sins. Thus I have explained my birth and activities for self-realization as you asked. All this will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. Hare Krishna.
Hare. Thank you, Mataji. So Narada Muni is explaining to Vyasadeva that what I have described to you, the life history, and how this glorification of the Supreme Lord, Haricharya Anuvarnanam, it caused an ordinary Dasi Putra, son of a maidservant that I was in the previous life, transcend and achieve such a highest platform of being a Nitya Siddha devotee of the Lord. So, my dear Vyasadeva, I have given to you one case study of a person whose life has completely been transformed by this process of constant glorification of the Lord, by the process of devotional service. And by this history, understanding the history of one soul attaining the topmost position in devotional service, you would achieve complete satisfaction, that which was lacking, that which was missing, despite you having composed all the Upanishads, all the four Vedas, Mahabharat, other Itihasas, so on and so forth. So whatever satisfaction was lacking by this one discussion of the case study, you would get. But does Narad Muni want him to stop at that? No. Like me, that means like Narada Muni, there are case studies of hundreds of devotees who came from different walks of life. We have devotee coming from Karmakanda walks of life, like say for example, King Prachina Barihi. We have a prince coming with the highest form of material desire, like Dhruva Maharaj, who wanted a kingdom greater than Lord Brahma, greater than his great grandfather. Or we have somebody who is coming from the most impious and sinful life, like Mrugari. Or we have somebody who is coming with the most virtuous and most empowered personality, like Prathu Maharaj. All these type of personalities, their case studies, how they perfected their lives in devotional service to Lord Vasudev, Lord Krishna. You present case studies of all these great devotees in the form of this composition, and that would ultimately grant you the satisfaction and will remove the despondency from your heart, Vyasadev. So that is the instruction and suggestion by Narada Muni to Vyasadeva, that describe glorification of the Supreme Lord through the lives and case studies of all these great personalities, like one that I have described to you. His Narad Muni's own past life. That is Narad Muni's instruction. So now we come to the second last verse, which is bringing back all the audience all the hearers of Srimad Bhagavatam to where it all started. At the beginning of basically not even at the beginning, at the end of the third chapter of Bhagavatam, where after completion of answering all the questions to the primary, all the answers to the primary 6 questions posed by the Shaunakadi Rishis, the Shaunakadi Rishis, they specifically asked Suta Goswami to discuss 3 topics. Which were the 3 topics? First one, the history of Srimad Bhagavatam. How did Vyasadeva feel the inspiration to compose Srimad Bhagavatam? Second one, about the primary speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukadev Goswami, describe his glories. And third one, about the primary hearer of Srimad Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj, how did he come about till this particular point of desperately wanting to hear glorification of the Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam? What specific happenings in his life drove him to this point of wanting to hear Srimad Bhagavatam over and above anything else as the topmost priority? So, out of these 3 topics that Shaunakadi Rishis wanted to hear about, Suta Goswami has discussed the history of Srimad Bhagavatam by discussing the despondency in the heart of Vyasadeva and Narad Muni's critical analysis of Vyasadev's composition and Narad Muni's providing of the solution, workaround. So here we come to Suta Goswami answering Shaunakadi Rishis. So let's recite the verse. Suta Uvacha
Sutta uvacha
एवं सम्भाष्य भगवान्
evam
Evam
sambhashya bhagavan
Bhagavan.
नारदो वासवीसुतं
narado
Sutam.
आमन्त्र्यवीणां रणयन्
amantrya
Amantrya
veedam ranayan.
रणयन् Can you hear me, Prabhuji's Mataji's? Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yadrachiko munihi. Hare Krishna.
Yayau yadachiko munihi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Chanda Yadav Mataji. Can you unmute?
Yes, Mataji. Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Translation and the yellow highlighted part.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Suta Goswami said, thus, addressing Vyasadeva, Srila Narada Muni took leave of him, and vibrating on his veena instrument, he left to wander at his free will. Purport, Hare Krishna. Every living being is anxious for full freedom because that is his transcendental nature. And this freedom is obtained only through the transcendental service of the Lord, illusioned by the external energy. Everyone thinks that he is free, but actually he is bound up by the laws of nature. A conditioned soul cannot freely move from one place to another, even on this earth. And what to speak of one planet to another, but a full-fledged free soul like Narada, always engaged in chanting the Lord's glory, is free to move not only on the earth, but also in any part of the universe, as well as in any part of the spiritual sky. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here we see Bhagavatam is explaining us the rahasya or the underlying mystery behind the freedom achieved by such great souls like Narada Muni. Bhagavatam explains that because of their complete surrender in devotional service to the Supreme Lord Krishna, these great souls have achieved so much freedom, which is in some context, in some specific category, almost as good as the Supreme Lord Himself by the mercy of the Lord. So we see Narada Muni, also one more quality of Narada Muni, that after he has discussed all this wisdom with Vyasadeva, he's after his message has been delivered, he is completely detached. And this quality we see across the various prominent speakers in Srimad Bhagavatam's history. For example, when Shukadev Goswami narrated the entire Srimad Bhagavat to Parikshit Maharaj, even before the Parikshit Maharaj left his body, when the Takshaka bird came and burnt Parikshit Maharaj's body, Shukadev Goswami had already concluded his message and had left from that place. So these great souls, they are not attached that whatever they have mentioned to their uh, students or to their audience, whether they follow exactly the same thing, whatever is their duty in terms of guiding the souls towards the path of transcendental wisdom, these great souls are doing their duty. But after that, they are not attached to make sure that their followers exactly follow what they have taught. Even in case of Jada teaching Rahugan, Maharaj Rahugan. As soon as the message is done, Jadabharat Maharaj ponder over and act on the instructions. Similarly, when Lord Krishna with Arjuna in the 18th chapter, what does Krishna, whatever I taught you? He says, no, my dear, it is up to you.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So none of these great souls, including Narada Muni, Shukadev Goswami, Jadabharat Maharaj, or the Supreme Lord Krishna himself, they are very attached for their proteges or for their students to exactly follow what they have taught, but they do respect the free will of the devotees. So here as well, we see Narada Muni, after guiding his disciple Vyasadeva to address his cause of despondency, dissatisfaction, leaves from that particular place, continuing to glorify the Supreme Lord on his transcendental Veena. So that is where we come to the almost conclusion of this particular chapter. We'll go to the last verse. Any questions, comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, Hare Krishna, on this particular point of Narada Muni taking a leave from that place, glorifying the Supreme Lord on his Veena? Any questions, comments? All right. So,
No problem.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we'll move to the last concluding verse of this particular chapter. Please try to recite. Aho devarshir yam.
Aho devarshidhanyoyam
Yat kirtim sarna gadanvanaha.
Sargadhanvanaha
Gayan madyan idam tantrya.
Gayan imam tantra
Ramayati aturam jagat.
Ramayati
Jagat.
So who is glorifying Narada Muni? Prabhuji's, Mataji's here in this verse? who is
Suta Goswami.
Suta
Yeah.
Goswami. Yes, very nice, man. Thank you. Audarya Gauranga Prabhu, Hare Krishna. You want to read through translation and the highlighted part.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. All glories and success to Srila Narad Muni because he glorifies the activities of the personality of Godhead. And so doing, he himself takes pleasure and also enlivens all the distressed souls of the universe. Sri Narad Muni plays on his instrument to glorify the tangential activities of the Lord and to give relief to all miserable living entities of the universe. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So we see, can we think of any examples, Prabhuji's, Mataji's, who all are different personalities who have been relieved by Narada Muni from their distressful situation and brought to devotional service?
Dhruva Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj,
Prahlad also.
Prahlad
Brigade.
Maharaj,
Brigade.
Valmiki,
Maharaj
Brigade.
Kayadu.
Kayadu, Prahlad Maharaj's mother.
Nalkuber and
Valmiki.
Yes. Thank you. Nalakuber, Manigriv,
Prabhuji.
Valmiki. Yes, Valmiki. He was the highway robber, and Narada Muni brought him to such highest platform of devotional service. Mrugari. Yes.
Mrugari.
Yes, thank you, Mother. Mrugari, who was such a heartless hunter who used to, half kill animals and take pleasure in their flapping till their last breath. So such a heartless hunter, Narad Muni transformed his heart, making him into such a compassionate great soul. So here, Suta Goswami is glorifying Narada Muni that he is such a personality whose pleasure in life, whose ultimate pleasure in life is to enliven such souls, bringing them out of their distressed condition of life to the platform of joyful devotional service. To such Narada Muni, Suta Goswami is offering his deep respect and appreciation. Srila Narada Muni, in order to enlighten the miserable inhabitants, wanders everywhere. His mission is to get them back home, back to Godhead. This is the mission of all genuine devotees of the Lord, following in the footsteps of that great sage. So we would conclude with a beautiful story of how compassionate Narad Muni is. In fact, recently we discussed this in Hindi Bhakti Vaibhav session, that when we know the story of Daksha, how in his previous life as Daksha, he was the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. He committed an offense towards Lord Shiva, offended Mother Sati, and she became so upset with her father that she gave up her body, and there was a reprisal from Lord Shiva's associate to Daksha, and his head was cut off, and finally a goat's head was put. And out of total insult, Daksha gave up his body. He took up his next body, and in that next body, again as Daksha, he continued his service of progenation, service of being a Prajapati for Lord Brahma. And we see that he created the first set of 1,000 sons called as Haryashvas and sent them to perform tapasya, austerity, so that they could assist him being qualified grahasthas. But Narada Muni taught them the futility of the path of materialistic life to the Haryashvas, the path of fruitive work, how it is ultimately not beneficial, and instead, if one is able to renounce everything in service to Lord Vasudev, that is the highest path of attaining perfection. So, hearing and being inspired by Narad Muni's teachings, Haryashvas, the first 10,000 sons of Daksha, they took to sannyas. Then Daksha was very upset, but somehow restraining himself, he created, or he gave birth to the next batch of 10,000 sons who were called as Shavalasvas. So the Shavalasvas, he sent them as well to perform the austerities. And Narad Muni again went to the place where these Shavalasvas, they were performing austerities and guided them that you should follow your elder brothers who have already perfected their lives by renouncing this world. And they also became sannyasis, renounced order of life. And Daksha was very upset. And Narada Muni knew very well that this is not the right time to meet Daksha, because already I sent first batch of his 10,000 children on the path of sannyas, on the path of renounced life. And I sent his second batch of another 10,000 children, Shabalashwas, them as well on the renounced order of life. So he knew that Daksha would be very angry, and he knew background of Daksha from the previous life, how upset and angry he can get. But still, in order to show compassion upon Daksha Prajapati, Narada Muni showed up in his uh, hmm, in his palace and admitted to Daksha that apologies, my dear sir, but I have guided even your second batch of children on the path of devotional service through renounced order of life. And Daksha was simply mad at Narada Muni for having done this to him second time around. And he cursed Narada Muni that just like you obstructed my service in this form as a householder, and you couldn't actually let me fulfill my duties as a householder and have my children take up sannyas order of life, I curse you that you would also be never be settled in your life at any one place, and you won't be able to stay at any one particular place beyond some time. You would be constantly on the move. You can't be settled in one place. And Narada Muni humbly took this particular curse of Daksha, and he utilized that particular curse by regularly visiting all the different places who are, what is the word that is used? Constantly anxious. Ramayati Aturam Jagat. Those living entities who are Aturam, who are full of distresses and anxieties, Narada Muni is constantly on the move, trying to reclaim those distressed souls and take them to path of Lord Krishna, take them to the path of devotional service. And he doesn't mind even receiving great curse upon himself while showing this particular compassion to the fallen conditioned souls or distressed souls in this cosmic manifestation. So, with this, we would conclude this conversation between Narada and Vyasa. And as we discussed, there are various loops of conversations in Srimad Bhagavatam. Like right now, conversation between Suta Goswami, Shaunakadi Rishi is going on. He has not even referred to the conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev Goswami till now. And within the conversation between Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, we further see other references to conversations between, say, for example, Maitreya Maharshi and Vidura, or for example, Narada Muni and Yudhishthir Maharaj, etc., being mentioned by Shukadev Goswami. So, sequence is not important. Prabhupada says sequence, if one doesn't remember or get it right 100%, it is still okay. Most important is what message, what conclusion we can draw from these discussions. That is very, very important. And in the next chapter, we will find Srila Vyasadev, similar to his Guru Maharaj, similar to Narada Muni, following the path shown by Bhakti Vedantas, Vyasadeva also meditates upon the Supreme Lord and gets darshan of the Lord, just like Narada Muni got. And after that, the third question is being taken for answer by Suta Goswami, which is about the primary audience, Parikshit Maharaj, primary hearer of Srimad Bhagavatam. How the events in Parikshit Maharaj's life unfolded for the Srimad Bhagavatam to appear. So that will form the rest of the 19 minus 6. So 12 and a half, 13 chapters, they constitute answer to this last secondary question by the Shaunakadi Rishis. So we would stop here. Prabhuji's, Mataji's, and my again sincere apologies for the disturbances and interruptions today due to the internet issue. I would definitely try my level best to resolve it. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions, comments, Prabhuji's, Mataji's? Anyone has any questions? All right. So thank you all very much, Prabhuji's, Mataji's. We will offer our prayers. Vamcha
Kalpataruvasya Kapasindhavayavasya
Patitanam
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Ananta Koti
Vaishnavinda ki
Vaishnav Thakur ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhu. I'll end the meeting. Hare Krishna.
Sure. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Tomorrow is Vaikuntha Ekadasi. We will be fasting tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the lovely session. And
Apology.
Thank you.